Daf Yomi Tractate Bava Batra, page 168b, top of the page, with the words Uploni Adav, and so were its witnesses. The ratification document is signed, and it may be used as a replacement for each erased document. That's the Mishnah. It might be a good idea. It was the middle of the Mishnah, so we'll start the Mishnah. The Mishnah at the bottom of 168a says, Misha nimchak shtarcho mamid alav edim ubal lefnei bezdin v'osin lo kiyum ish ploni ben ploni nimchak shetro biyom ploni uploni adav. Now on top of 168b, it says in the case of a creditor whose promissory note has become erased, he should produce witnesses who remember the details of the document to testify about it, and they come before the court and they ratify his promissory note for him, stating the promissory note of so-and-so is erased, and it's stated that a loan for such and such an amount took place on such and such a date. And 168b, ploni adav, and so-and-so were its witnesses. The ratification document is signed, and it may be used as a replacement for the erased document. The Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanon Ezekiyamo b'mosav Talasa Havina Anu Ploini Oitzi Ploini ben Ploini Shtar Mechuk Lefanenu b'yom Ploini Edav Im Kasaboy Huskaknu Leidusan Shanedim Venimtas Eidusan Mechuvenes Goiva Ve'enu Tzarech Laviraya Vim Lav Tzarech Laviraya. The sages taught in Tosefta Bava Metzia 116, what is the text of the ratification document of an erased document? The court writes as follows: we, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and so-and-so, were sitting as three judges, and so-and-so, son of so-and-so, produced an erased document before us, which was written on such and such a date, and so-and-so were its witnesses. And if it is written in this ratification document also, we engage in the investigation of the testimony of the witnesses, and their testimony has been found to be congruent, the creditor can collect his debt on the basis of this ratification document, and he does not need to bring further proof. But if this formula was not written, the creditor needs to bring further proof of the loan in order to collect it. Nikra pasol, nikra kosher, nimchak oni tash, im rishumu nikar kosher. The Batra continues with its discussion of damaged documents. If a promissory note was torn intentionally, it is not valid. But if it became torn accidentally, it is valid. In a case where it was erased or smudged, if its imprint is recognizable, meaning if the words are still legible, though barely, it is valid. Hechidami, Nikra Hechidami Niskara. Amar Yehuda Nikra Kara Shel Bezdin. Niskara Kara She'eno Shel Bezdin. The Gemara seeks to clarify the terms in the second part of the Batra. What are the circumstances? Meaning, what are the defining characteristics of a document that was torn, and what are the circumstances of a document that became torn? Rav Yehuda says a document that was torn means that it had a tear created by the court because they wished to render it not valid to payment of the loan or some other circumstance. The document that became torn means it had a tear that was not created by the court. Hechidami Karshal Bezdin. Rav Yehuda Makom Edim Makom Azman Makam HaToref Abai Amar Shti Ve'erev. The Gemara seeks further clarification. What are the circumstances in other words, what are the signs of a document that has had a tear created by the court? Yehoshua says the document has a tear that ruins the place of the witness's signatures, and the place of the date, and the place of the essential part of the document. Abaye says it is a tear that goes both lengthwise and widthwise. Hanu arvoi de asu lipum disa avuko ansi arasa de ina she osomi rovasayu l'chami Abaye amar le lachazi mar shtarin v'lichtov lan mar shtara achrina ale ti mitnis echad nikitinan chad bi'idan. The Gemara relates there was a certain group of Arabs who came to Pumbedita who would rob people's land and force the victims to surrender the deeds to their property to prevent subsequent legal action. The owners of land, who had not yet fallen victim to these Arabs, came before Abaye and said to him, "Let the master look at our deeds to our property, and let the master write us another deed for it, so that if one of the deeds is robbed, we will have the other one in our possession." Amar lahu, my avid lahu, the Amar Rav Safra, ein kostin shtei sharos l'sdei achas, dilma tarif hadar tarif. Abaye said to them, "What can I do for you? I cannot comply with your request." As Rav Safra says, one may not write two deeds of ownership for one field, lest the owner of that land repossess property once and then go back and repossess it once again. Generally, whenever real estate is sold, there is a guarantee given to the purchaser in the event that the land is repossessed by the seller's creditor or by someone else who proves that the land rightfully belongs to him. If the seller of the repossessed land has no money to honor the guarantee, the purchaser can repossess property from others who had purchased property from the same seller subsequent to the sale of the repossessed land. In order to do so, he would have to produce the bill of sale proving that he had purchased the repossessed property. If he has two such deeds, he would be able to collect payment twice. To eliminate this possibility, duplicate property deeds are not written. Havo Katardile Amrle Lasafre Zil Kasovlahu Hu al Machak Be'edav al Niar the Apostle. The landowners kept badgering Abaye to write the duplicate documents until, in order to get rid of them, he said to the scribe, "Go write a document for them. But first write on paper and then erase it, and then write the desired document over the erased text so that the text of the document will be written over an eraser and the signatures of its witnesses will be on a part of the paper where the writing has not been erased, a situation in which the document is not valid." Amar le Rav Acha bar Menyumi le'Abaye v'dilma Reshua nikar v'tanya v'nimchak o nitashesh im Reshua nikar kasher Amar le mi kamina jitra alia Aleph Beis ba'alma kamina. Rav Achi bar Menyumi said to Abaye, but perhaps the first writing on the paper was not erased thoroughly, so its imprint is recognizable, and it is taught in the Batra that in a case where the writing on a document was erased or smudged, if its imprint is recognizable, the document is valid. Abaye said to him, "Did I say that he should write a proper document and then erase it?" I said, I intended that he should merely write letters of the olive bays, not actual words. Tanu Abanon הרי שבא ואומר, אומר, אבל שרחויבי, אף על פי שאמרו עדים, אנו חסמנו ונשאנו לו, אין כוספין לו עשר שטר בבית דבר אמורים בשטרי הלבוע, אבל שטרי מקח וממכר כוספין חוץ מן האחראי שבו. The sages taught in Batra in a case where one came to a court and said, my promissory note was lost, even if witnesses said we wrote and signed such a promissory note and gave it to this man, the court may not write a new document for him. The Gemara asks, in what case is this statement said? In the case of documents detailing loans, but in the case of deals of buying and selling land, the court may write a replacement document, including the standard guarantee that was in the first document, which states that if the field is repossessing, the seller will compensate the purchaser for his loss.